Brits leaked, and once again the truth trickled out faster than the palace machinery could spin it. A fresh report has claimed that yet another supposed breakdown in communication has taken place between Prince Harry and the royal household, a phrase the tabloids love so much they recycle it monthly like clockwork. But as always, the moment you scratch beneath the sensationalist surface, the story unravels into something entirely different. A simple courtesy notification from Harry's office transformed, by palace insiders and tabloids hungry for chaos, into a narrative of dysfunction. And the irony? Harry, as always, was the only adult in the room. According to the Duke of Sussex's office, Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace had been informed in advance of his recent trip to Canada. Harry's team described it clearly. It was a courtesy, a professional gesture, a respectful heads-up before the trip became public. But almost immediately, royal aides began to whisper to their favourite tabloid pipelines, disputing the claim, sowing confusion, and attempting to create the illusion that Harry had blindsided the household. The goal was simple: undermine Harry, elevate palace players, and feed the endless British tabloid appetite for drama. The timing, of course, was no coincidence. The situation unfolded just as Prince William began a 5-day visit to Brazil, an international tour that the British media desperately wanted the world to see as a triumphant, spotlight-stealing royal moment. Yet the second Harry's trip to Toronto was announced, to mark Remembrancetide, a deeply meaningful and solemn period for him as a veteran and advocate for military families, the tabloids erupted. Headlines scrambled to shift attention away from the Duke, who was actually honouring service members, and back toward the usual palace talking points. Suddenly the narrative wasn't about remembrance, it wasn't about veterans, it wasn't about Harry's humanitarian commitments. Instead, it became about who told whom, what, when, how, and whether the palace felt fully flattered by the courtesy call. Harry's office told reporters that the palace had been informed in advance. Full stop. A straightforward statement, a professional one. Yet British tabloids, predictably allergic to simplicity when Harry is involved, spun it as though he had triggered a diplomatic incident. Who authorised the call? Which palace was informed? Was it Buckingham? Kensington? Both? Why wasn't the message delivered with a gold-embossed letter, a royal horn salute, and a handwritten note sealed with ancient wax? The absurdity writes itself, but British tabloids never let the truth stand in the way of a good palace-fed smear. What they conveniently ignore is that Harry, the very person they claim is estranged, reckless, disruptive, or unpredictable, has consistently acted with professionalism, clarity, and courtesy. Whether engaging with veterans organisations, charity leaders, global partners, or in this case, simply notifying the palace of a public-facing engagement, Harry continues to demonstrate responsibility and respect. His work speaks for itself, his actions remain consistent, and his intentions remain honourable. Meanwhile, the palace leaks like a colander, and the tabloids play stenographer to anyone willing to whisper nonsense into a phone. The truth is painfully simple. Harry made the courtesy call. The palace chose to dispute it, not because it wasn't true, but because tabloids needed fresh drama, and palace aides needed fresh oxygen for outdated power games. Nothing fuels narrative manipulation faster than undermining Harry, and nothing sells papers faster than pretending every action he takes is somehow an offence against royal order. So here we are again, in another episode of the British media circus. Harry travels to Canada to honour troops, to recognise sacrifice, to support remembrance, and the palace tries to turn that noble act into a petty communications squabble. But what the tabloids forgot is that the world can see the truth far more clearly now. Harry has built a reputation rooted in transparency and action. The Invictus Games alone proved his commitment to veterans is not performative. It is lived, earned, felt, and profoundly respected worldwide. When Harry steps onto Canadian soil and speaks about Remembrancetide, he isn't doing it to outshine anyone. He isn't doing it for cameras or royal optics. He's doing what he has always done, honouring service members, championing the wounded, and embodying the spirit of remembrance with integrity. Compare that to palace aides who seem to spend more time crafting leaks, disputes, and briefings than supporting actual charitable work. Their focus is not on veterans or remembrance. Their focus is not on strengthening public service. Their focus is not even on truth. It is on territorialism, on palace politics, on controlling the narrative at all costs. And in their pursuit of PR dominance, they once again villainize Harry, the one royal who actually walks the walk. British tabloids have built an industry on distorting Harry's decisions. When he stays silent, they accuse him of plotting. When he speaks, they accuse him of attacking. When he travels for work, they accuse him of overshadowing. When he stays home, they accuse him of hiding. They have locked themselves into a cycle of obsession so intense that even a simple courtesy notification becomes a headline, a controversy, a battleground for palace egos and tabloid greed. But here is the piece they can't twist. Harry told the truth. His team notified the palace. He travelled with dignity and purpose. He honoured veterans. He upheld remembrance. And he did so without theatrics, without drama, without the parade of PR fantasies that now define palace behaviour. If anything, the incident reveals the stark contrast between how Harry conducts himself and how the palace machinery operates. Harry leads with clarity. The palace leads with confusion. Harry communicates with sincerity. Palace aides communicate with spin. Harry's actions show loyalty to veterans. Palace insiders show loyalty to tabloids. Harry moves through the world with an open heart. The palace moves through it with open agendas. There is no breakdown in communication. There is only a breakdown in honesty. And it is not coming from Harry. The situation is reminiscent of dozens of similar episodes. Palace aides claiming confusion, tabloids inventing outrage, commentators pretending to be baffled by Harry's clarity. And each time the public grows more aware of the formula. There was no controversy until the tabloids created one. There was no contradiction until palace insiders supplied it. There was no tension until the media exploited it. Harry's team said the palace was informed. That alone should have ended the story. But British tabloids, unable to let Harry's dignity stand unchallenged, had to drag the narrative into chaos, because chaos sells. What they failed to see, however, is that the more they obsess, the more they reveal their own desperation. The world no longer believes the palace's leaks. The world no longer sees Harry as the problem. The world no longer accepts the British media's exhausting fixation on tearing him down. People see Harry not through tabloid distortions, but through his consistent actions, compassion, service, authenticity. He no longer plays the palace's game, and that terrifies those whose power relies on controlling the narrative. Harry is not the one causing the breakdown. He is the one exposing it. By informing the palace, he showed integrity. By honouring remembrance in Canada, he demonstrated unwavering commitment. By staying focused on service while others focused on PR strategy, he proved yet again why he remains respected across continents. This latest leaked drama is not about communication. It is about the palace scrambling for relevance. It is about tabloids scrambling for clicks. It is about the old machinery being unable to accept that Harry's life, work, and influence continue to thrive outside its grasp. Harry stands strong, clear, principled, committed, and no palace aide or tabloid headline can diminish that. And that is exactly why they fear him.
The submission itself sounds nice. And to my amazing and peculiar Sussex family, thank you all for watching our videos and tuning in to Daily Diaries Friday's update. Keep it light, keep it there, and see you next time in our next episode. Bye bye. May you have a good day and a good time. Keep shining. Bye bye.